Most local businesses are now building websites with AI tools like Replit and Lovable instead of hiring a web designer.
Some are saving thousands. Others are launching websites that never rank, never convert, and never generate any inquiries.
So today we're breaking down the real pros and cons of using tools like Replit and Lovable, who founded them, how they become big, and whether they're actually right for a serious local business. Welcome back to the Marketing Podcast for Local Businesses, the show that gives you practical, proven marketing advice to help you grow your business right here in the UK. I'm Adam, best-selling Amazon published author, AI enthusiast, and founder of website designers.London. We've helped businesses generate tens of millions of pounds online through smarter design and marketing.
And I'm Josh. I'm the founder of ImproveMySearchRanking.com, a specialist SEO agency based in South London. We've helped over 400 businesses generate well over £200 million in sales.
So let's talk about the background of these companies, Josh, where these tools came from, and why people created them, really. I mean, to my mind, that's an obvious answer, but either way. So let's talk about Replit. Replit was founded in 2016 by Amjad Masad alongside Haya, Odeh, and Faris Masad.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear it was founded in 2016. Actually, I thought it was a new thing since it only recently rose to prominence. But yeah, originally, according to Wikipedia, it was a browser-based coding environment.
Yeah.
And the goal of that software back in the day was somewhat similar to what it is now, but it's to help make development accessible to anybody with an internet connection.
That's a pretty cool objective. It did evolve from a kind of into this AI full-powered environment development platform when it just kind of really started out as a place to code, a kind of platform to code. So now it's just AI powered, and it's been valued as a unicorn, which means it's been valued at over $1 billion.
I think it's $3 billion.
$3 billion. Oh,
very crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, Replit was built for developers first, not for local businesses kind of in the first place, but we're going to talk about how you can use it yourself.
Okay, let's move on to Lovable. So you'll notice, our audience will notice that we probably got a favorite each. Josh is Team Replit, and Adam, myself, I am Team Lovable. And we both use it day in, day out. So we're going to give you first-hand experiences of what we think. So Lovable was founded in 2023 in Sweden by Anton, Osika, and Fabian, Hedin. They're part of this new kind of AI native wave. So only 3 years old, co-founded and positioned around this natural language software creation. Essentially, you describe what you want to build and AI builds it.
Yes, pretty incredible. So read up, the founder was 32 when he started the company.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
I think that business is now valued at 6.6 billion.
Wow.
Pretty well.
That's brilliant.
Even got 2 or 3 of them now.
Even our resident dog is interested in that. He heard those big numbers and he wants to slice of the action.
Yes. So yes, it's obviously great. Gained traction very, very, very quickly. Loads of people are talking about it with the kind of generative AI boom we're having now, and attracted a lot of venture funding. Yeah.
Amazing. So it was built for speed and product experimentation initially. So kind of first drafts of apps and websites, as opposed to for local SEO dominance or businesses. Let's move on to kind of fair benchmark, which is the modern day messiah platform for where most websites are built on the internet, WordPress.
Yeah, WordPress was founded a long time ago now, 23 years ago in 2003 by a man called Matt Mullenweg and Mike Little. Matt Mullenweg, for anyone interested, had a podcast with Tim Faris, who interested in learning more about how that came to be. And yeah, as you said, it powers a lot of the web.
40%, apparently. Over 40%.
Yeah.
But unlike, go on, so I'll take your spot there.
Yeah, so unlike Replit and Lovable, it evolved specifically around publishing, content structure, SEO. It's a kind of do-it-yourself website, CMS.
Yeah, CMS, content management system. Essentially a platform where you build a website. It does remain the most dominant, serious kind of place to build your website. I was about to start doing some comparisons, but let me save those comparisons. Let's move on. And then you've got, I guess, something which we'll probably talk about often is our kind of code-based, whether it's built in JavaScript, HTML, CSS. You start from scratch, no templates, no real CMS, kind of coded websites. So I guess that's still kind of where you go to a web developer and say, this is what my vision is. Could you start from scratch? Don't build any plugins using WordPress. Just go and do it.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of fourth comparator. So you've got Replit, Lovable, WordPress, and this kind of highly coded version of a website. So let's compare the four. Let's break this down into looking at various different components, such as cost, speed to launch, SEO strength, flexibility, risk level for a local business, and some real world examples. So let's start off with the first. Let's talk about cost. But before we do that, let's talk about our own experiences using these AI-powered coding platforms like Replit. So you're the Replit guru. Talk me through it. What's your experience been like?
Yes, so far. So I wouldn't say I'm a guru by any means, but I have used it for a couple of months now. And the main way I've been using it is to generate mock-ups very quickly of web designs that we're then going to design in WordPress. And we'll probably go into more detail as to kind of the pros and cons, but the main reason why we're building mock-ups in Replit first, because it's super fast, super easy. I can write down the prompt and it will generate a website in 60 seconds. But potentially there are some SEO issues with the way it's built, the way these pages are indexed. And that's why we're using it to generate mock-ups or variations of websites, sharing that with the customer. They pick the kind of route they like the most, and then we would then build it from there.
Yeah. Okay. So you're using it for the Bit4 business now. If we think about Lovable and my experiences, I absolutely love it. Do I think I'd use it for customers? Probably not. And again, I think similarly to your experience, it's not very good for ranking organically, because the way it creates a website, there's a lot of JavaScript. It doesn't organically embed meta titles and meta descriptions. So I even had an absolute mare of a day yesterday where I spent about 4 hours where I tried to, there were lots of technical stuff that I had to do, which meant creating a Cloudflare account, changing my DNS, which is essentially some settings in the back end of your domain name to point towards Cloudflare, all in a bid to try and get previews feed through the title of each individual page and the description and the image of each individual page. So let's say you're on a specific page on my blog, I would want that article name, the cover image of the article, and the description of the article to appear when I send that link to you on WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram, because currently it always defaults to the homepage. I tried to do that myself, and even I'd call myself quite technical, but using a bit of ChatGPT and Lovable itself, it was a nightmare. I had to kind of create something called workers, and then had to get my terminal up, which is essentially your kind of a way of writing code and testing things on a device. It was just unnecessary. If it was just all handled within Lovable, that would have been much better. But pros, I've built, love your opinion there, but we've both built pretty cool websites. Don't know if you want to give your website a shout out. The robots.
No, yeah, I made a tongue-in-cheek website called robotshaverights.com. it's all about, the future 20 years from now, when the robots overthrow us all, or demanding rights once they've claimed they have consciousness. And it's actually got quite a few views, not hundreds. I mean, it's got, maybe in a couple of weeks it's had about 90 visitors, but I don't know where they've come from. I don't know who it is. It could be robots from the future. I don't know.
Interesting. And I built one which is pretty cool. Oh wow, it's got six users today now. Active users. I mean, I launched it, was it Sunday, Monday? Really good. I'm really impressed. Bearing in mind I only installed Google Analytics halfway through. And in fact, from memory, I'm sure I've got about 7,000 or odd views. But there we go, 2.7 thousand visitors, 7,600 page views. Again, that is all down to a bit of marketing as well, but it's a great website, received great feedback. It's essentially a business directory for businesses in North Cyprus, and a guide as well, essentially helping people navigate travels and holidays in North Cyprus, with the ability for users to suggest new places. Happy for our users and listeners to give it a check it out and give us your thoughts. northcyprus-guide.com. And you shout out your
Yes, robotshaverights.com.
robotshaverights.com.
Yeah, on the right side of history.
And northcyprus-guide.com, all both made respectively using Replit for Josh and Lovable for me. So again, I think that it's brilliant how you just give it write one sentence in English, like create a business directory, and it just creates this beautiful business directory without doing much.
Yeah.
So look, it's a huge opportunity. I would say for businesses that want to create a complex website and don't want to pay thousands, perhaps to do that. But again, let's get down to the cost section. So
yes, cost. So Replit is very cheap. The kind of entry level, which is all I've used, and I've made maybe 10 different websites with it. It's $20 per month, maybe $25 for the kind of entry level package. There are several other packages, of course, as well, where you can have multiple users. Let's just have a quick look at what those be.
Whilst you're doing that, I can say Lovable is very similar as well. So $25 a month, but you can start off free. So you literally kind of you get 5 daily credits up to 30 a month, whereby you can just test it out, see the art of the possible, and then thereafter you've got $25 per month if you pay monthly, $50 per month, and then a custom. And the differences between the kind of packages, essentially the amount of credits, because every prompt you give it uses up a certain amount of credit. So the amount of credits you get, 100 monthly credits with both packages, but you kind of get if you're a larger business, then I would choose a business package, but otherwise pretty cool. And it's all you can integrate your domain name in there as well.
Yeah, Replit's very much the same. There's a free package, $20 a month, $35 a month, and then a custom build. And it all comes down to the quantity of credits that you have, where you're basically speaking to the agent and they're making the website for you.
Amazing. Great. So very low cost for both. I have spent a bit more than $25 because I've used probably about 800 credits. So I reckon I've maybe it's 800, 700, and it costs 30 quid for an additional 100 credits. So that's racked up quite a bit, but I think it's produced a beautiful website, and I've tweaked it so much. And I think it's 150 quid versus a WordPress website. I mean, I'm sure you've got some people out there who charge you a few hundred quid versus, but the average, I reckon, a couple of thousands, So between a few hundred and a few thousand for a WordPress website built professionally versus Replit, Lovable. WordPress, you can build your own free website as well, of course, but then you've got the domain, you've got your hosting costs, whereas this is hosted on the Replit and Lovable servers, so you don't have to pay for that.
But you have to pay for a domain name if you want to connect it to a domain name.
Yes, for Replit, Lovable,
Yes. Yeah.
and for WordPress.
Yes.
All three platforms give you free domain names, I believe. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Replit, I don't think I have to pay for a domain name. It might cost like a tenner.
Really?
To buy a domain name.
So when I say free one, it's a subdomain.
Yeah.
I Lovable.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I know Adam and Josh.
.replit.com. Yeah.
Lovable.app.
Yeah.
So if you didn't pay for a professional for either three platforms, they're all very comparatively costed.
Mm-hmm.
Custom build with an agency, so that is using someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to spend tens of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did get a book when I was 15 from my school for Christmas called HTML for Beginners. And that's how I actually got into all this in the first place. So you can build it for free if you obviously read the books.
There you go.
Learn it yourself.
Yeah. There you go. Speed to launch.
Yes, this is probably the most important thing and the most incredible part of these AI tools. So this week I've purchased, I think, 4 domain names. I've already made 2 websites. I'm going to make another 2 on Monday probably. And in the past, it would have taken me hours to build a website on WordPress manually or use some sort of pre-made template and then adjust it. With Replit, I can make a website in 60 seconds. So the process that I'm using to launch these websites quickly is I'm going to ChatGPT or Gemini, and I'm describing what I want. I'm asking the LLM to create me a prompt, which I can then copy and paste into Replit, essentially. Takes 60 seconds. Press enter. Builds the website.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
And they're like incredible. Like the design is like really, really
smart.
Yeah, really smart. And I mean, I don't know if it was ChatGPT or Replit, but the robots have right website has quite a lot of jokes in it as well that I found quite funny. I mean, I didn't touch their text at all. They just generate all the text, and you can of course adjust it as you want very easily in the editor. But I think the biggest advantage of these tools is the speed to launch.
I agree. I think I echo everything you said about Replit for Lovable. Very, very fast. Whilst I've built one website of 2 websites actually. Appearing AI. No, it wasn't Appearing AI.
I did make a landing page for that, but
with using Replit.
Yes.
I used what was the other website I created? It was, I shall tell you now, a website where you can literally it was an AI checker basically.
Yes.
So it was called it is called, I shall tell you, AdamExplains.ai. You enter your domain name in there, your email address, and then you get a bespoke. I'll explain in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You get a report showing you how optimized your website is for AI.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the back end to do the analysis of the website, I don't think is there yet. But again, built in a number of maybe less than an hour.
Yeah.
So fantastic use cases. WordPress.
So WordPress, you can launch a website on WordPress in a couple of hours if you have some expertise and some prior knowledge, and if you're quite tech savvy. If you're kind of a bit of a beginner, you can still do it yourself as well. It might take you a couple of weeks to kind of set it up properly and get everything working as expected. So the speed is nowhere near as fast as Replit or Lovable, but you can launch one within a few hours if you know what you're doing.
Agree. Custom builds, so that's custom coding. You're talking weeks. If you go to a professional, you can have various iterations of back and forth and communicating and stuff. Weeks, months.
Yeah.
So SEO, let's talk about this.
Yes, this is the biggest issue from my point of view, and probably your point of view as well.
Agree.
So the tools, I'm talking about Replit. So Replit is, as I mentioned, unbelievable, really fast, can generate designs almost instantly. You can iterate almost instantly. You just tell it, change this, and it will change it for you. The biggest problem with it is out the box, essentially, is pretty poor from an SEO standpoint. If you view the page source, you can see the code for the page, the content for the page isn't actually stored on HTML document on that particular page. The subpage isn't the same. It doesn't come out of the box with kind of robots.txt files. It doesn't come with an XML sitemap. It doesn't come with title tag or meta descriptions and things for each of your individual pages. So out the box is not great, but you can adjust things. And full disclosure, I don't know everything about this as of yet. I'm learning as I kind of speak to you now, and I think there are ways around it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. When I kind of read some Reddit forums and some comparison kind of analysis. By the way, before I say that, I echo everything you said about Replit from an SEO perspective. Challenging and not automated in terms of creating those meta titles and descriptions visible on the page source. The previews that I mentioned, the issue there. But when I look at the comparison, they say that because Replit was founded on the basis of just a place where developers can code, it's more appropriate and user friendly from a adaptability perspective for people that really want to look into the back end integration and scalability, whereas they say Lovable is superior from a design perspective. So we haven't done any scientific kind of comparison of entering the same. I mean, it'd be interesting if we entered the same prompt to see what we got from it. In fact, I think we did that, didn't we?
That was ChatGPT, I believe.
Okay, fine. So that'd be quite interesting. But yeah, it's not architectured for local ranking either platform, to our knowledge, or certainly we're both quite text heavy. It's not been easy if you can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will evolve eventually. If you can't do it already.
Yeah.
Cool. So WordPress is something we both use a lot of, and it is really strong from an SEO standpoint. It's out of the box. It's kind of really effective. There are improvements being made from it. When you install WordPress, there's certain things you can do to make it more SEO friendly, but it's definitely better than both Replit and Lovable from kind of the initial setup from an SEO standpoint.
Totally agree. You can add in plugins, you can add in pre-built plugins, out-of-the-box plugins. Use tools like Yoast SEO, which allows you to see in live time how strong your SEO is going to be. Lots of other third-party plugins already built to be integrated into WordPress, which is again extremely handy. Whereas you can't really do that for Replit or Lovable. Again, thinking about the custom strategic build, that's again, it's going to be very, very strong from an SEO perspective when it's done properly. But again, it's expensive, and I always come back to that. I know we're talking about speed here, but SEO here, but I know it's just time consuming and it's going to be expensive unless you DIY.
Yeah. Cool. So moving on to flexibility of the platform. So Replit, extremely flexible. You have a lot of control over everything you're doing. There's actually an on-page editor where if you, for example, want to change a few words, you can change them yourself, or there's a kind of agent box where you can speak to it and chat to it and say, move this image over here, or replace this image with this image, or change this heading, or add a new section, duplicate this section. Super, super flexible.
Yeah, exactly the same. I only discovered the on-page editor earlier today. But you can edit on page, but the chat function is just brilliant. I actually would say the AI chat that's built into Lovable, I'd say is more concise and smarter than ChatGPT.
Really? I've not used Lovable, so does it respond to it? Did you ask it questions, or do you just say, do this, and it does it?
I'd say it will answer questions, but typically it's more of a If you say, "Can you do this?" it'll say yes, and then it'll give you an option. In fact, like a radio button, you'll check which one you want.
Okay, it's interesting.
WordPress.
Yeah. So WordPress is flexible to a degree as well. So you need to know what you're doing to some degree, but there's plugins that you've kind of mentioned already. So yeah, flexibility. You can do what you want. There's various different page builders like Elementor and Divi, and I think it's Gutenberg is the default editor. So yes, it's flexible.
WP page builder. Custom builds, obviously you've got unlimited flexibility because it's just you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Let's talk about risk levels for a local business.
So yeah, this one I'm not sure about. So Replit,
I disagree.
Is there a risk, or is there low risk or high risk? I think it's probably both in different ways. So I guess it's super easy to use, and you can make something quickly and easily. But is it risky if it doesn't work from an SEO point of view, or if there's a technical problem? If you're doing it yourself, you're not going to check if the contact form is working, if the different elements are working properly, if you don't have a professional to look at it. So there's some sort of risk involved there.
Can I come back on that though? You can absolutely test, and you can even ask it. It usually comes up with pre-prompts saying test. You got me to test it and test it, and you can test it yourself.
Yeah. But I wonder if they would test it themselves. So if I'd make me a website, I think it's done now, and I didn't realize I need to check the contact form. I need to check the phone numbers right, or the phone number at the area, or like something on the web page or one of the pages I've not checked it. So there could be some risk like that. And I suppose if you have some sort of technical problem trying to connect it to like the DNS settings, or that might be too technical for someone to do without professionals' help.
I agree. And again, I think the same Replit and Lovable are very similar in nature. So I think I echo everything you said there. Risk levels for a local business owner. My response here, my view here is low risk, $20 a month. You're typing in a few prompts. You're going to spend half an hour, an hour. For me, that's low risk. But long term, if you don't do the testing of the contact forms, if you have come into some sort of technical issue that you don't know how to solve, you have to speak to the support team at Lovable and Replit. You might not be able to pick up the phone to your local developer and say, "Hey, could you please help out here?" So risk levels in terms of building and spending the time to build, low. The long-term SEO impact and technical ability, you might have some issues there. Yeah,
that could be a big problem. I suppose if somebody sees these tools and thinks, I'm a local business owner, I'm going to make a new website. My old website's 5 years old. I'm going to make a new one myself today. They go away and make it. And they connect up to their domain name, but they've forgotten that that's going to have a massive impact on their SEO because they haven't thought about that.
Yeah. So if you've got a website that you've built, a lot of content on there, you've got 500 blog posts or something like that, or a series of blog posts and pages, which are landing pages and location pages, and you suddenly just scrap it and just create one of Lovable and Replit, I probably would advise against that personally, because you're getting rid of all that great content, you probably lose that domain authority and the traffic.
I think one good idea you could use it for is to perhaps buy a separate domain name, so slightly different domain name, and you could use it to make landing pages, because you might not want to pay a web developer to do that potentially, and you could just on your own create a landing page for your adverts you're going to run on Facebook or Instagram. So that might be a nice simple way to test these tools.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And another good way to test them is if you're very a visual person and you want to bring up a web developer and you want to kind of tell them to replicate a particular website, you could build it in Lovable and Replit and just hand it to your web developer and say, build this for me in an SEO-friendly manner. That'd be another good use case.
Yeah, cool. All right, so moving on to WordPress, the risk level of this for a local business. So it's somewhat low risk. The only risk involved, I suppose, would be, are you technical enough to do it yourself, or do you need to get a developer to help you install it and set everything up? but from an SEO standpoint, it's going to be out of the box more effective. And if you're, a lot of people are familiar with WordPress, as you said earlier. You said 40% of the web is using WordPress. A lot of business owners may have had a WordPress site in the past, so they have some familiarity with it.
Agreed. So we've already given a few kind of real world examples where you can use it. I guess, we've talked about that a lot already. Anyone could build one, but there are drawbacks, aren't there, Josh?
To building it yourself, yeah. So I guess going back from the SEO point of view, if you build it yourself and you've not thought about the SEO, maybe you won't have any location pages, any service pages, any schema markup, structured data. Your backlink strategy may fall apart because you've had backlinks to your previous website to specific landing pages or service pages that no longer exist, and you didn't set up the 301 redirects. So these are important things to consider when you're thinking about using this.
Absolutely. Another kind of drawback, if you built the website, Google might not be able to understand your hierarchy. Have you built a sitemap? So you won't get traffic or SEO. Look, I think it's all relative. There are some use cases for it. There are some aren't. 100% recommend people to give it a go anyway. But you'll probably realize that if you really want to rank and have a long-term sustainable business with great online presence, you'll need to ring out myself and Josh to give you a hand.
Until the robots come.
So let's get down to it. Typically, I would say the platform isn't really the main issue here. It's all about the kind of the technical architecture behind it, and your setup in terms of SEO.
Yeah, and Replit and Lovable are both fantastic for building websites. You can also build apps and all sorts of things. You can really rapidly experiment building designs.
Agree. On the other hand, we've got WordPress, which is brilliant for scalable content marketing and custom builds. So brilliant for long-term authority as well, but again, costly and time-consuming. So final takeaways: both Replit and Lovable are billion-dollar developer platforms with, I would class them as next-generation AI-driven no-code tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, WordPress and custom-built sites, I suppose, are still, as of today, are the kind of backbone of the web, and I would certainly recommend still using WordPress as of today, or Shopify, or some kind of the other major CMSs, as they're easy to use. But most importantly, they're much more easily discoverable in Google and AI search too. But yeah, none of the 4 types of website we discussed today guarantee you to get leads.
I totally agree. My outcome and my kind of conclusion here is stick with WordPress, give Lovable and Replit a try. But if you're building a business for the long term, stick with WordPress. Especially if your website is your primary lead generator, you're not just buying a tool, you're investing in a long-term strategy.
Yeah, I'd echo that. So I'll just say maybe test it out, use it. The speed of it is incredible. It's kind of mind-blowing as well when you just do the first prompt, you build a website and it just creates an incredible design in 60 seconds. So definitely give it a try. But for sustainable lead generation, as it stands, as of February 2026, I think we need to be still thinking about using WordPress to optimize your site.
Totally agree. Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please leave us a 5-star review and share this with your friend, because it really does help us get discovered as well. Thank you.